Too out of the way, you figured, until you found a rental car with airport pickup on Kayak.
As you see me bitch slapping you right here on national airwaves.
The only thing you can bitch slap.
What part of that seems like cozying up? What's the part of that seems like cozying up to the right? I think you're an idiot. I think you love that coup on January 6th. I think you hate our democracy. I think you hate our Constitution. So what part of that is cozying up to the right wing?
Andrew Wilson went on Piers Morgan Uncensored and took on this woke idiot Cenk Uygur in a very heated and personal debate, as normally happens whenever these two meet. And this is a good one, man. This is a really good one. This is one that got really heated. It got really personal, and Andrew Wilson absolutely wiped the floor with Cenk Uygur for just absolutely ridiculous talking points that he's bringing to the table here. Let's get into this clip here where Andrew Wilson absolutely annihilates this woke idiot Cenk Uygur here live on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
That you may end what seems to be a very American thing, the very ethos of the country. This birthright citizenship. What do you feel?
It's a very un-American thing. The 14th, or I'm sorry, this was never, by the way, never set up so that people could come in, have a baby, and then anchor themselves to the child. And that's what's been going on. It's been going on for years. We know it's been going on for years. This was designed for things like for immigrants who came in legally. They have children here. Of course, those are United States citizens. Nobody's disputing that. What we're disputing is that you can just come in illegally, have a child on American soil, and then try to anchor yourself to that child. That is not in the spirit of what we're even talking about. Of course, Trump wants to end it. It's bad policy across the board. It's always been bad policy across the board. And I hope the Supreme Court, it gets challenged by the Supreme Court so we could get it in front of them so that they can interpret it correctly, because that's not the way this is supposed to be applied.
Cenk?
Yeah, so first let me address what he said, and then I'll come back to this. So look, guys, what happened on May 30th was nothing but a protest. But if they attack Secret Service guys, then they should be arrested. That's a violent crime. I'm principled on both of those things. And in Portland, when they took over a portion of the city, I was against it. Like, well, that's not a thing. You don't get to take over a portion of a city. I was against it when gangs took over apartment complexes and buildings in Colorado. So if Trump stays with things that the American people are in favor of, getting rid of the violent felons that are undocumented here, that's going to be very popular, whether the left likes it or doesn't like it, right? But when he goes too far and he goes to things like birthright citizenship, then people are going to push back. And that's when it gets interesting. Is Trump going to double down and go, no, I'm going to, go to demagogue on this and get you people to hate foreigners coming in, et cetera. And I don't care what the Constitution says, and we're going to change the way America is, and you're no longer an American if you're born here. We're going to judge you based on, where you're from, et cetera. That'll be very unpopular. Does he dig in, or does he, as he does sometimes, go, you know what, I gave it a shot, didn't work, and retract? I hope that that's the direction he goes, because this whole, look, brother, if you have a problem with a part of the Constitution, you need to go through the right process. You need to go and do an amendment. Like, I want to do an amendment to get money out of politics. But when Biden was in office, I didn't think he should just come in and go, forget what the Supreme Court said. Forget what the Constitution said. Let's go nuts and do whatever the hell we want. That's not how it works.
That's not at all what Trump is doing. Not even a little bit. And I don't even understand how these people like Cenk Uygur are trying to spin it as if Donald Trump, like, they've been doing this for the longest time too, man. It's not even just with this deportation stuff. And look, it might not be the most popular thing. Maybe Cenk is right, but not everything should just be done because it's popular or not. Like, what are we talking about? That's like I always say that Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur's ideas for the left wing, if the Democrats adopted them, they would probably never lose another election. But at the same time, if they adopted them, it would prove that they are not, they have no morals and they have no principles. They just want to win. They just want power. Because all Cenk Uygur cares about is if ideas are popular or not. He's always just talking about like what ideas are popular and that the left needs to go full populist and things like that. And it's like, yeah, you'd win, but at what cost? Like, you're sacrificing your own personal morals and beliefs if you have any. So that I've never understood that. And I also don't understand how they just continuously say that Donald Trump is doing these things that he is not doing, that he's never done. In fact, it's things that the left wing are doing and have done. They're saying that he's amending the Constitution without the proper process when it comes to the deportations. And they say that he is going to, go after another term after this one. They say that he's going to weaponize a DOJ against Democrats. It's like, he's not doing that, number one. And number two, you guys did that. The administration you voted for did that. And the administration that you voted for a second time did that to Donald Trump. You're projecting.
Well, gee, I never thought about that. I didn't know that we were supposed to go through a process of law for these things, which is exactly what Trump is doing via his executive order, which then hopefully will get it in front of the Supreme Court, which looks like that's what the plan is.
Part of the legal process.
By the way, just so you know, the interpretation of this, that's what we're really talking about, is the interpretation. Ultimately here, it is not, and you need to agree with me on this, it is not in the spirit that you can come in and have a child here and anchor yourself to the child specifically so that you have some pathway or motivation to citizenship. You say it's not a part of the legal process. Yes, these challenges, getting in front of the Supreme Court, getting in front of various courts is part of the process. It's been done this way time and time and time again. Also, I reject categorically what you said, just lied to the audience. You called Trump bunker boy, right? He was going down to the bunker during the protest to inspect it. Ha, 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 right? You didn't care at all.
Yeah.
You weren't denouncing political violence. You weren't denouncing these people getting beat up. You didn't care when the violence is on your side like a typical Democrat. You don't care at all, Sink. You don't care. And you've never cared. The only reason you care now is because you want to kiss.
And I condemn it every time people do violence. Literally every time.
I'll say snake. But the thing is, Snake, is that you're just trying to kiss the right wing's ass now to get back in with them because the left has categorically rejected you. And that's what's actually happening.
Cenk, is that what's happening?
All right, you amuse me. Yeah, this guy amuses me. So, like, you think calling me Snake is going to somehow win you the debate? Good luck with that childish.
I already won the debate.
Way of going. Oh, you did because you said it. Okay, that, by the way, another great debating tactic. Just saying you won. And second of all, we have 27 million. How many times do I have to say this? 27 million subscribers, 30 billion lifetime views. You're a pimple on my ass. I literally don't even know who you are. So you come in here talking about audience, and you're a snake. Okay, you're a turtle. You're a scorpion. Audience. Whatever. Do I win now?
I didn't say anything about audience. What are you talking about?
It's not at all what he said, and it's crazy that Cenk's true colors kind of showed right there. Where he's like, "Oh, I feel like I lost this argument. I lost this debate, so I got to go just start flexing my numbers." It's kind of crazy. That's not at all what Andrew Wilson was saying. I don't know. Andrew Wilson was saying that the left wing has rejected Cenk, so he's kind of turned into more right wing viewpoints. And it's crazy because the night of the election, Cenk Uygur was on Patrick Bet-David's live show, and he was like on the verge of tears. And I'm not being hyperbolic; like, he was legitimately on the verge of crying after Donald Trump won. And then the day after, he's like, "I'm actually super optimistic today." It's like, okay, man, that's a crazy turn, And so I think Andrew Wilson is correct that Cenk Uygur is only turning towards the right wing and having more moderate viewpoints because he is getting rejected by the left, because he doesn't want to continue down the path that you have to go down if you want to be considered part of the left nowadays. And Cenk took that as, I don't know, an attack on his numbers, I guess.
Talk about gay pride, like this.
Yeah, so I don't have the same take as the rest of the panel when it comes to the idea of legislating morality. I think that there are ideas which are subversive and that we can get rid of, and that's absolutely fine to do. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to pornography. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to children being introduced to this type of sexuality so young. I don't think that that's necessary at all. I don't think it's an impingement on free speech at all.
Andrew Wilson went on Piers Morgan Uncensored and absolutely annihilated a couple of woke soy boys, as Andrew Wilson normally does when he goes on Piers Morgan's show. But this one was so bad that it did leave Piers Morgan pretty stunned, pretty shocked, and also obviously leaving the woke soy boys shocked here. Let's get into this clip where Andrew Wilson absolutely annihilates an entire panel of woke idiots here live on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
With it. But for an adolescent, like these young kids, I'm seeing kids at dinners when we're at restaurant surfing TikTok while their parents are not even paying attention to what they're doing. Like that right there is a massive problem. And if we don't, as a society, get a hold of that, then this will never end. There will be more series like Adolescence that hit even harder because we're witnessing it in our own lives.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, you seem to be in agreement with some of that.
Yeah, it's poison. There's no doubt. It re-scrambles children's brains, and it's very difficult to monitor. Even if you have parental controls, they can find ways around it. At school, they have peers who will assist them in getting around it. You have to monitor it really well. Smartphone technology for my own kids, it was kind of new. I wish that I, in retrospect, had done more guarding against that myself. You don't know the dangers of that technology until children get a hold of it, and then you're left scrambling going, oh man, I wish I had known that this was going on or that was going on, but you have no idea. Now, though, we have a little bit of retrospect, and we know that it's an appropriate thing to do to guide against this type of technology because, yeah, he's absolutely right. It does create all sorts of problems for kids. I'm not sure that gets to the heart of the masculinity and feminine issue, but I totally agree with him that we should be safeguarding our children against this technology. It does seem to be very bad for them.
And James, there is pretty well unfettered pornography on the internet available to young men and women, obviously, but men are watching a lot of often quite violent, degrading sexual scenes in these porn clips they're seeing online. None of that can help in the way an impressionable.
Yeah, it's no doubt it's detrimental to society, but especially detrimental to younger, children's minds. What's crazy is this is the topic of this, right? This is the topic. And you guys know I don't pre-watch these, but this is the topic, and you know that people are going to hardcore disagree with Andrew Wilson's take that this stuff is bad for children and bad for people in general. It's no doubt detrimental to society. There's no arguing that this stuff is detrimental to society. I don't know how anyone could argue that possibly.
Young male mind goes about trying to forge a real relationship with an actual woman.
Well, I think it's important not to say young male mind is any person's mind, right? Like, I don't think we should victimize men. I can't believe Andrew's agreeing with me. But yeah, it's awful. I mean, I genuinely don't think people should have phones until they're 16. They certainly shouldn't have.
Well, Australia's done that, and I'm not against it.
Yeah.
The smartphone ban till 16.
I mean, it's terrifying.
Why not?
You can't go on air on TV and say whatever you want. Like, I know you're pretending that you're uncensored, but you couldn't sit here and say literally whatever you want. Well, not really, Piers, because if you said something that incited hatred or racism or a terror attack,
I wouldn't want to say
be arrested.
I wouldn't.
But online,
why would I want to incite
I'm
a
not
terror
saying
attack?
that you want to. I'm just trying to make a point. Online,
you're saying I can't say what I want.
Online,
I do not want to incite a terror attack.
But if you did,
I'm allowed. Just to be, you're raising an interesting point about censorship.
Yeah,
we're uncensored because I would not want. I don't say anything I don't want to say.
Right.
So when you say I'm censoring, I'm actually self-censoring. I'm not. I'm not going to call for a terror attack.
I'm not saying that you would ever do that, of course, but I'm saying that if you did, there would be accountability for that because you are broadcasting to a lot of people.
Right.
But a lot of people online do not have that gate stopping them from saying horrendous things. And so therefore it can blow up online, excuse the horrible pun, and that shouldn't be allowed. There should be a system in place that stops people broadcasting things that aren't meant to be broadcast to millions of people.
One of the problems, Tommy, Toby Young, who's a British journalist, director of Free Speech Union, very, very big in promoting and defending free speech, says Adolescence, the new teen drama, is pro-censorship propaganda, partly paid for by the state. It is now being seized upon by Labour left-wing MPs as evidence we need more online censorship. And that is, of course, you talk about a swinging pendulum. What you don't want to come out of all this is an overreaction and an over-censorship, because that in itself becomes a problem.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with Sean on this point too. I think parenting has more to do with this than any of us really, can even understand. I mean, many, I'm sure, in this panel can, but parenting is, to me, the end all be all of all of this. I mean, you can watch horrible things online. You can listen to people say horrible things, but if you've got a good foundation with good parents at home, hopefully too, that provides you with a lot of guidance and support to navigate these things. And it doesn't really, scramble your mind in the way that those that are not blessed with a two-parent household may be impacted by it. I don't believe that censorship is ever the answer. I believe that more speech is the answer to speech that you don't like. And as much as I don't like certain people online and what they say, whether they're the Tate brothers or whoever else, I believe that they should have the right and the ability to say it. And then people like us should have the right and ability to respond to it. I think that's the healthiest way to come to a great consensus, or at least a public square where we can all debate ideas with dialogue and conversation. But I don't think that censorship is ever the answer. And I think that, our leaders in America have done a great job of emphasizing that, especially to the European countries who believe censorship is the way to cleanse or the way to legislate morality. I just don't think that's the way to do it.
Well, the instinctive reaction.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way to do it either. I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comments on what we should do about this issue, because I'm sure like at least 90% of you guys agree that this type of content that they're talking about is detrimental to society. There's really just no doubt about it. And I'm curious to see what you guys think the answer is, because I don't think it's censorship. I don't think just take it off, and don't allow anybody to do it, because not even that would be necessarily a bad thing. But anytime you do that, it's just going to create like a black market effect. And that things are going to get even more worse, even more vile. There's probably going to be, I hate to say this, I don't even know if I'm allowed to, but it's probably going to be like more children involved and things like that. And you don't want that to happen. What I think needs to happen is just more shame in society. Shame for participating in it, shame for watching it, consuming it, all that type of stuff. More shame needs to go against that whole genre of entertainment, that whole genre of content. I think it just needs to be a shame thing. It's kind of like what happened with cigarettes. They didn't ban cigarettes. It's just you're kind of shamed now for smoking cigarettes. Like people look at you and you're like, you smoke cigarettes? Like that's pretty gross. I think the same thing just needs to happen with that type of content. It needs to be a societal, cultural shift. And right now, it's shifting, but it's positively. Like it's shifting in an accepting way. Like, oh, you watch that stuff? Oh, that's fine. No problem. Oh, you make that type of content? That's awesome. How much money did you make? That's so great. It needs to be shamed more. And I know people are going to say, oh, it's shamed all the time on social media. It's not shamed enough, obviously. If the number, I actually looked up the numbers for this, and it's like something like 2.2 million women are on OnlyFans, like active content creators on OnlyFans. That's a lot of women. That's a lot. And that's a problem. So it's not being shamed enough.
Reaction, certainly in the UK, for a long time now, many years, has been to censor and to ban and prohibit and so on. And I think people are beginning to wake up to the downside of that, is that once you chip away at things like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, you're heading down a pretty slippery road, which can be dictated by your government. And then that's not a place.
It's interesting though, isn't it? I mean, I just want to make a side point, and I don't need to get into it, but like your government are banning books. So they are literally talking about free speech whilst also banning free speech in it that they don't agree with. So what you're saying is nice, and I agree with you in principle, but that's not literally what is happening.
They're not banning books, dumbass. They're not banning books.
Banning morality.
Welcome to the Whatever Dating Talk podcast, where we try to make sense of the modern dating hellscape. I'm your host, Brian Atlas. A few quick announcements before the show begins. We rarely do sponsorships, so this podcast is viewer supported. So that we can continue to not be beholden to megacorp advertisers, please consider sending a tip through streamlabs.com/whatever. Instead of super chatting, YouTube takes a brutal 30% cut. That's streamlabs.com/whatever. The messages on Streamlabs get priority. To read a message during a break is $200 and up. Oh, you know what? Hide. Oh, no, that is correct. Yeah, you can show it. You can show it. I thought I had it. We had to bump it today just because we have so much to get through. So $200 to read. TTS is going to be $200. Or sorry, TTS is going to be $300. My mistake. What's that? Oh, yeah. TTS is going to be $300 and up. That's via Streamlabs only. There's a moderation delay with the TTS, but we try to get those in within a minute or two.